Hi. All right, let's learn a little bit about the moon today using this awesome software program, Stellarium.org. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to look at that, and I'm going to do my best to make this like simple and clear and not like super crazy making and confusing. Okay, so we're going to start with the upcoming full moon on April 5th. Is coming up pretty quickly. And here you can see I've made the moon big and I've made the sun big, and so we can like see them the most easily going around. But here is the sun is setting for me, northern hemisphere, right? Facing south, the meridian, which if you're familiar with astrology, this is your midheaven. This is the midheaven, I should say, not necessarily yours, but the midheaven here at this sunset time, at this full moon time. So here's the sun setting and here's the moon rising, right? The full moon is when the sun and the moon are opposite each other. So let's turn the sun off because that's easier to see everything behind. And then boom, all the planets and these stars start to pop up. So I'm going to turn on the constellation lines and the constellation art, just so we can kind of see where we are in case you're not familiar with all the constellation lines and what they look like, right? Okay, so here we are, sun setting, moon rising. You can see down here in the bottom, April 5th at 7:34 p.m. This is all for me in Aspen, Colorado, right? That's what we'll be looking at. Like the Jupiter is near the sun at this full moon, so there's some Jupiter juice, some expansiveness to this full moon. Mercury's not too far away. You can see Venus near the Pleiades up here. Here's Mars still moving through the sacred hoop, which is this circle of bright stars that includes the Pleiades, Capella, Castor, Pollux of the twins, Procyon, Sirius. You can see whatchamacallit, I'm drawing a blank, Orion here in the middle. Here I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see that a little better. Orion, the three stars in his belt. Okay, but anyways, we're here to talk about the moon. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back out so we can see the whole ecliptic when I'm going to turn the earth off, right? Turning the ground off so we can see the whole yellow line that is the ecliptic. That's the path that the sun moves through the sky throughout the year, right? So the sun is in Aries right now here in this Fishes constellation, which, just a reminder, constellations and signs are not the same things, but that's a topic for a different video. And here is the moon, the Libra full moon in the Priestess constellation near Spica, the shaft of wheat or corn, the grain that the priestess holds that feeds the community, right? Okay, so moon, moon, moon. Okay, so we're going to just start moving. The first thing we're going to do is just follow the moon all the way around the ecliptic for the 1 month cycle. Okay, so we're just going to go day by day. We're going to keep the sun on at the sunset and just watch the moon move around. So here's the big full moon, and here's the day after, and we keep going, and we can start to see the moon is losing light, waning. It's in the waning half of its cycle on its journey back to the sun. And here we are about to come into the waning half moon, or the third quarter moon, it's called as well. We'll go one more and see. So here we have this half moon, and notice it's near the IC. So the green line is the north-south line of, well, the sky, but also our charts. So up here is the meridian. I keep saying that, or your MC, the MC right now. Down here is the IC, the home and roots. So notice at that quarter moon, if we got it exactly precise, I'm not going to mess with that because it'll start spinning the whole circle. And then that's like motion sickness and also like totally confusing. So we're just keeping the sun anchored at the sunset. The quarter moon the quarter moons, both of them, will align with this meridian line. And we'll look at that next. But right now, I just want to stay with this simple look at the moon moving around the ecliptic. Okay, so we're going to keep going. See, now it's past that quarter moon. It's getting a little bit smaller, smaller, still waning. We're moving towards the crescent. Look, there's the crescent moon right by Saturn, which is something you could see in the morning sky. So if you took this whole circle, and again, I'm not going to spin it yet, but if you spun it, then Saturn would rise over here before the sun, and this crescent moon would be with it, right? If we spin it clockwise towards the sunrise, where the sun will be over here to rise, northern hemisphere, looking south, the crescent moon would be with Saturn. Okay, we're going to keep going. Oh my gosh, now we can't even see the moon anymore because it's so close to the sun. And then boom, we have the new moon time right here, right? Not exactly precise because again, I don't want to start making the circle spin, but you can see this is the new moon. And this one's really special because it's an eclipse, right? So I won't be able to see it here in the Northern Hemisphere because it'll be happening during my nighttime. But you can see the moon is going to pass exactly in front of the sun. So sometimes, let me see how I want to say that. So the new moon is always when this moon is between us and the sun, but it's not always directly in front of the sun like we're seeing right here. Sometimes it might be kind of lower than the sun, up above the sun. So it's always the time when the moon's between us and the sun, but we can't, it's not necessarily an eclipse unless it passes right in front of the sun, which is what you can see here because it's so exciting. This is an eclipse coming up. Jupiter's close to this eclipse, so which you can see here in the software, and it just shows that there's a lot of juice, right? Jupiter, expansiveness, a lot of energy around this eclipse, this new moon eclipse, right? Okay, so we're going to keep on trucking here. And we keep going. So now the moon is past the sun, it's moving away from the sun, and it's going to start to get the light back to it. It move into the waxing half when the moon is gaining light. So we can see here, you could see just a little teeny crescent, and this is when the moon will be meeting with Venus over these 2 days, right? Crosses over. You can see the crescent moon a little bit more. This is when we look at Venus will move into the throat chakra. So Venus right now is in the heart chakra, following the most ancient myth we have written in the world from ancient Sumer. Venus, the divine feminine, moves through the chakras in this waxing part of the cycle and will move into the throat chakra. Again, too much information to cover in this video, but just know when you see that crescent moon with Venus, it means something special. Okay, let's keep on trucking. So here we go. We're moving towards this first quarter moon where the moon will be at the half moon. But look, it's going to meet with Mars here, right? Very close to Mars, this waxing crescent moon on April 25th. You can always see the dates down here. And we'll keep going. And then we reach this first quarter moon, the waxing half moon. And notice here it is right at this meridian line as the sun's setting. So when to go outside, you could go and see the sunset, you see the moon up on high, it's waxing. The lit part is always facing the sun, right? Which makes sense. So you know that it's the waxing crescent moon, and it will be right up on high when the sun is setting. And then let's continue our circle and keep cruising around. Goes by Regulus, the royal star. The moon is getting more and more light, continuing on until boom, we're at this next full moon, right? But the sun has moved, so the full moon would really be more like here, and we would start to, dare I, add in the time, because it starts to get to, you'll see everything starts to move. So I'm actually gonna move that, and I'm just gonna advance the time an hour. Let me make sure I'm gonna do that right. Oh, I'm doing it by day. So here we go. There's like little shortcut keys, right? I kind of went a little bit far. It's less than an hour, right? So we'll just kind of go back. Hopefully that's not too confusing, but you can see the sun and the moon are opposite. And so once the sun starts to set, then the moon will be rising, and then that will be our next full moon. So we've made one whole circle, right? So I'm just going to kind of, at the risk of making it a little crazy, I'm just going to go back around more quickly, right? Quarter moon, whoops, solar eclipse, new moon, keep going back, quarter moon, and here we are at the full moon again, right? So one more time, we're just going to go through it quickly. Full moon, see the moon moving through the cycle, waning, new moon, eclipse because it's right in front of the sun, and then we will keep going, cruising around, quarter moon, waxing, and then we hit that full moon time again. I think that's actually enough information to cover today. I was going to talk about some other things, but maybe I'll save that for another time. So here we are. I hope you enjoyed checking out how the moon moves around the sky with this amazing software, Stellarium.org, that you can get on your desktop for free. Yes, free, F-R-E-E, it's free. And I encourage you, if you're interested in astronomy, and definitely if you're interested in astrology, to get it. Check it out. If your skies are cloudy, you can look and see what's going on here. This software will teach you so much about astrology and astronomy, and it's free, which is incredible. So blessings for this full moon, this new moon eclipse, for the whole moon cycle, and wishing you well. Thanks for watching. Okay, lots of love. Bye.